Hi, I'm Frank Masel, one of the co-authors of Triangulo APreciado, and I'm here today in this segment of how we wrote this to talk about what is a connection. So as you've seen, hopefully from other videos and as you're using the book and diving in, you realize that this book for AP Spanish is divided into little parts, and so one chapter has an intro and then has three connections. The idea is that through one product or principle, you can kind of use that as a vehicle to talk about many aspects in AP themes. And what we wanted to do as authors is kind of break that apart into these deep connections all related to said product. So for this reference, I'll use connection 2 of chapter 2, which refers to la mochila as the product, and the connection is la adaptación de la mochila a la realidad de uno. So what do we need to know about a backpack or a bag of any sorts, and why is that really important, and why would there be an entire chapter about it? But again, remember that it's just a vehicle by which we're talking about and discussing many different AP themes. Each connection starts with this kind of brainstorming approach related to what we call ¿qué sabes? We talk about vocab that'd be essential, and then you move in sometimes to something called a comunica. That comunica is a chance occasionally to throw in yet another AP task for students to practice. Moving on, then, you would see a para saber más. So you can't just, you've talked about it, you've brainstormed, but then you move into a different aspect of this product. You need to kind of learn more about it. You're going to dive in, you're going to think about, you're going to kind of educate yourself as a student, hopefully always in some kind of personal questions or related to other people, talk to other classmates. We want to make sure classmates are communicating with each other. And then you have to end with some kind of real life application, some kind of small, let's say mini presentations, etc. From then you go to an idea called Informate. So we take an authentic source and we dig it apart, or take it apart for you as a teacher, and we as authors wanted to make sure you had yet a real life example that relates to this theme and connection. And students debate that in the end. They have something and it could potentially be controversial, and then debate that. And then you're headed up this mountain, and you're getting to the point at the top, which is your aprecias la cultura hispanohablante. And that's where you're going to do AP task and AP questions, and you're going to read, you're going to discuss, etc. But just before that, what else might you need to know? ¿Qué más necesitas saber? And that's really going to be, what else do you need to know in order to fully understand this authentic source, this anchor piece of the entire connection? So you're mounting up. So some vocabulary that's practical, and use of that vocabulary that's going to be crucial for understanding what's next. As you come off of that AP, then, aprecias la cultura hispanohablante, you're going to come off of that and you're going to need to do, ¿qué aprendiste? That's those AP questions. Some questions to think about that aren't an AP task, but then moving into AP style questions, which we can all identify as a very hard part of the AP test, right? You have this thing you've read or seen or analyzed, and then you have questions in multiple choice format. And so we wanted to make sure that always there were examples and practice of those kind of questions. For my own students, they tend to be very difficult. And I find as a teacher, it's very hard to teach how to do AP, how to do and analyze those AP questions. Finally, you need to put all of these things together. So you have a presenta. This is kind of the culmination of an entire connection, and you do some kind of mini project. You need to go out and find something related to this connection as a student, and then you read a source, again, related to it, or some kind of authentic something, and then you plug it all in for what you do is, the final presentation of a connection. And as a teacher, you can make that a really big deal, or you can make it just some kind of assignment for a class period that you turn in. I would love to see, and in my own classroom, used it as a task that we presented and we worked with as a class. It just kind of made it have stronger purpose for me. But not everyone has that kind of time. Not every connection you can give the same value to that presentation if you're trying to do the whole book in a course. Teachers have the right to pick and choose and do what they need to do. And finally, wrapping up this connection, there are always some loose ends. And so we have a section called Atando Cabos Sueltos. And in that Atando Cabos Sueltos, there's always another simulated conversation. So even if there hasn't been a simulated conversation built into a connection, every connection will provide you with a simulated conversation available online. That way, you're able to use it, practice it, and again. That's another part of the AP test that for me has always been really difficult. So the goal is to give you a simulated conversation and practice, practice, practice. And hopefully, with perfect practice, you get perfect results. And so that's overall a connection. There are lots of connections, 3 per chapter. And in a later segment, perhaps we can talk about how you could then take these things, this kind of format, and make your own connection based around one of the products, principles given, and then use it in your class so you can continuously vary the information, vary the sources, etc. Hope you enjoyed this segment of how we wrote this.